In this session, we will consider a model of the money supply. In the previous class, we have seen how banks create money. But that analysis was based on the assumption that the entire currency is held in the form of deposits, demand deposits. But this is not true. The public will keep a part of their money supply in the form of currency. A part will be deposited as demand deposits. That is more realistic case. And we will consider this more realistic case to explain our simplified model of money supply. And we assume that our model is based on fractional reserve system, as in the previous case. This model has three exogenous variables. One is the monetary base. Three exogenous variables. One is the monetary base. The model of money supply has three exogenous variables. One is the monetary base. We denote it by B. Monetary base B. Now this monetary base B consists of currency held by the public and held by the bank as reserves. So B is equal to currency plus reserves. B monetary base consists of currency held by the public and currency held by the banks as reserves. And it is directly controlled by the central bank because currency held by the public is determined by currency issued by the central bank. Similarly, reserves, that is reserves to deposit ratio or reserves, is determined by the central bank. In a fractional reserve system, central bank decides what should be the reserve deposit ratio. The second exogenous variable is the reserve deposit ratio. Reserve deposit ratio, we denote it as RD. Reserve deposit ratio is equal to R by DD. As in our previous example, it is say 200 by 1000 is equal to 0.2. That is the reserve deposit ratio, R by DD. And this reserve deposit ratio is determined by the policies of the commercial banks and also the laws regulating the banks. Reserve deposit ratio is under the jurisdiction of the laws enacted by the central government, central bank or monetary authorities. The third one is currency deposit ratio. Currency deposit ratio. I define it as some small letter d, C by dd. Currency deposit ratio. The amount of currency held by the public as a fraction of demand deposits. If say the ratio is 500 by 500, it is 0.5. It means that of the total currency available, 500 is kept as currency by the public and 500 will be put in the bank as deposits. So our model of money supply depends on these three exogenous variables: monetary base, reserve deposit ratio, currency deposit ratio. They are exogenous variables because they are determined outside the system. So, and our model of money supply shows that money supply depends on the monetary base, the reserve deposit ratio, and also the currency deposit ratio. And this model also allows us to examine how the policies of the central bank and also the choices of the banks and households influence money supply. So our model enables us to analyze the effect of these exogenous variables on money supply as well as the impact of the policies of the central bank and also the choices of households, say regarding currency deposit ratio, the choice of the banks regarding reserve demand deposit ratio affect money supply. Now we define our analysis by defining M as equal to C plus DD, or money supply is equal to M or MS, or simply M is equal to currency plus demand deposits. Monetary base is equal to C plus R. Money consists of currency and demand deposits, and B, monetary base consists of currency plus reserves. Demand deposits in the next section will be decomposed into various components. For the time being, demand deposits only. We will not consider any other thing. So currency plus demand deposits, monetary base is C plus R. Now, M by B is equal to C plus DD by C plus R, and dividing throughout with the DD, C by DD plus DD by DD all divided by C by DD plus R by DD, dividing throughout with the DD, that is denominator and numerator, and this will give us C equal to, what is C by DD? Small letter C plus 1 by C plus, what is R by DD? RD. So M by B is equal to C plus 1 by C plus RD. So that what is M? M is equal to C plus 1 by C plus RD into B. Money supply is equal to C plus 1 by C plus RD into B. So this equation shows that money supply depends on three exogenous variables: monetary base B, reserve deposit ratio RD, and currency deposit ratio small letter C. And money supply is proportional to these three exogenous variables. And the fraction of proportionality, money supply is proportional to these exogenous variables, money supply is proportional to the monetary base B, and the factor of proportionality is C plus 1 by C plus RD, and C plus 1 by C plus RD is known as money multiplier. We can write it as M is equal to small letter MB, where M is equal to money multiplier. And remember this, deposit expansion multiplier was 1 by RD. What is the difference between this and this? The difference is C. If we assume that currency deposit ratio is 0, that means public will not keep money in the form of currency, then money multiplier becomes deposit expansion multiplier, 1 by RD. But we know that people will keep a part of their money in the form of currency. So this is the money multiplier, C plus 1 by C plus RD, and money supply is proportional to the monetary base consisting of currency plus reserves. And let me give a formal definition of what is money multiplier. Each dollar of monetary base produces M dollars of money. Each dollar of monetary base produces small letter M dollars of money. Because the monetary base has a multiple effect on money supply. Monetary base has a multiple effect on money supply. Money supply. This monetary base is also known as high-powered money. High-powered money. Because monetary base has a multiple effect on money supply. And the multiple is nothing but money multiplier. And as it has a multiple effect on money supply, monetary base is also known as high-powered money. So the model of money supply which we have outlined is nothing but money supply based on high-powered money. So money supply depends on three exogenous variables and it is proportional to monetary base. Factor of proportionality is the money multiplier. The value of money multiplier depends on reserve deposit ratio and currency deposit ratio. Now let us see what is the effect of these exogenous variables on the money supply. One, money supply is proportional to monetary base. As you can see, money supply is proportional to monetary base B. Monetary base B. That means if B increases by 1%, money supply also increases by 1%. If monetary base, currency plus reserves increases by 1%, money supply also increases by 1%. So there is a direct and proportional relation between these two. What about RD? The second, money supply is inversely related to RD. Means RD is the reserve deposit ratio. Means if RD is lower, banks will be able to give more loans from any amount of reserves. So a reduction in RD increases money multiplier. Increases the value of money supply and vice versa. If RD decreases, value of money supply increases. If RD increases, value of money supply decreases. So money supply and RD increases, money supply decreases like that. Third one is, what is the relation between C and money supply? Lower C, larger will be the money supply. There is an inverse relationship between money supply and currency deposit ratio. It means that if people hold less amount of their money as currency, that is if they deposit more money as demand deposits, then money supply will increase because banks will be able to create more money from a given monetary base. So decrease in C increases the value of money supply. So remember this, money supply depends on monetary base, direct and proportional relation, inversely related to reserve demand deposit ratio, inversely related to inversely related to currency demand deposit ratio. So, central bank controls the money supply by altering either the monetary base, currency plus reserves, or by the reserve deposit ratio. So, central bank can influence money supply by changing RD or by changing the monetary base, currency and reserves. It cannot influence currency demand deposit ratio. And as it is known to you, the central bank has various instruments available to alter this, like open market operations, reserve requirements, discount rate. These are all methods of credit control which you might have studied or you will study later in the context of macroeconomics. So, this is the simple model of money supply, and in the next class we will make this money multiplier more complicated by introducing more components in the demand deposits, in the reserves and the like. That we will see in the succeeding classes.